My name is Valerie Morris, and I want to welcome y'all to our meeting, our first of a few online meetings or meetings that we'll be having to talk about the transition from elementary school at the intermediate to junior high school. And we want to make sure that this is a really smooth process and that we get all of your answers, all of your questions answered. And so we have some special guests on with us today that are you're going to get to know very well if you don't know them already. So we have Mr. John Rush, who's the principal at Snyder Junior High School. We have Ms. Sherry Faulkenberry, who is the counselor at Snyder Junior High School. And we also have Anna Montoya, and she does a lot of different things, but she is our public relations representative at the junior high school. And she is there to be a liaison between you and the school and help as well. So my name is Valerie Morris. I'm the public information officer for Snyder ISD. Also encourage you to call us anytime. You can call the junior high. You can email questions at snyderisd.net. We'll make sure that your question gets answered by the right person. We also are going to have an in-person meeting. We'll cover a lot of the same material, but we know it's a lot and we want to make sure that you have multiple opportunities to hear it. So if you know someone that wasn't able to make today's meeting, or let's say that you end up having some more questions that you want to ask, please come to that meeting. It's going to be on April 7th. Which is a Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. at the junior high. So we invite you to come to that one as well and bring a friend as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with our first question here. Okay, so the first question that we had come in was what we're about to start doing, which is scheduling electives. So Ms. Faulkenbery, Mr. Rush, can you walk us through exactly what is the process for scheduling electives and classes for junior high?
Go ahead, Ms. Faulkenbery. That's typically yours.
Oh, you're muted, Ms. Faulkenbery.
All right, we are starting off April 1st, where Mr. Rush and I will meet with the students at the intermediate campus. There they will have the chance to be introduced also to band and choir and find out a little bit more about those programs. And then at that time, Mr. Rush and I will share some brief information with the students about the classes, the electives, what they are and what their choices are. And then they will also be given a form to take home to have a discussion with their parents or their family to choose the electives that will suit them best, and then return that form back to their homeroom teacher no later than April 8th.
So that's definitely one of the exciting things about junior high is the opportunity to take electives, something a little bit different than what they've been doing in elementary school. Can you tell me about the electives that are available at the junior high for sixth grade students? Because they're different at each grade.
Yes, each grade level has different electives available to them, but specifically for sixth grade, we have a new one this year, and it's music appreciation. And that elective is for a student that is interested in music, but they're not quite sure if they want to do choir or band, and they just want to find out a little bit more about music. They will dive into the history of music, the culture of different types of music and genres, and that sort of thing. They will have the choice of choir, band. PE is not considered an elective because they have to have 2 years of PE, so we do that in sixth grade to get one of those out of the way. Then they will also have the choice of, let's see, a really fun one is STEM and technology. That is so fun. That's a lot of hands-on activities in STEM. Technology, of course, is just basic keyboarding, learning the basics of the computer and how it works. They will have speech and health, and as well as theater performance and theater technology.
So theater tech is a new one as well for the junior high, correct?
Yes, it is also new. Theater in general is new to sixth graders this year, or for next year, I should say. This year it was only offered to seventh and eighth grade, but next year it will be available to sixth grade. So theater performance is, of course, it's performing. It's skits, plays, that sort of stuff. Theater tech is behind the scenes stuff that you don't necessarily see. It's the costumes, it's design of the props, getting everything ready for the skits.
That's great. I'm glad that the sixth graders are able to do that, especially with the tradition that we have in theater with Snyder ISD. So that'll be great for them. Can you talk a little bit about the speech and the health credit as well?
Sure. Speech it's an introduction to speech. So again, it's just the very basics, getting them ready for the next step, which if they were interested and enjoyed that class, then in 7th and 8th grade, they would have the opportunity to take pro communications, which counts as a high school credit. So in 6th grade, speech is just the basics. You know, what do you need to know? It's eye contact, body language, tone, that sort of stuff. How to write a speech, you know, pertaining to a specific audience. And health, again, is a basic class, learning, you know, a little bit about the anatomy and how it works, and about our general health overall, exercise, diet, you know, all that sort of stuff going in together.
Good. Well, so that's a lot of choices, and
Yeah.
it's great that they have those opportunities available to them. What if a child is not really sure what they want to take, or maybe they change their mind? What would you say to those students and parents?
We're really going to go ahead and ask you to work with your child, talk with your child, go ahead and really pick what seems to fit for them right now. We will do our best to get them their top 2 to 3 choices. That is not always a guarantee due to scheduling and class sizes and when it fits into their schedule, but Ms. Faulkenberry does everything she can to make that happen. So then at the first of the year, you come in and that's really not what you wanted to do. You want to change. We do give you about 2 to 3 days that we say, hey, here's a schedule change form. Please fill it out. Go talk to your parent about it. Meet with Ms. Faulkenberry about it. If it's possible, we try to make that change. But once again, that's not a guarantee due to class sizes, due to scheduling when it's available. But we also try very hard to make sure we respect that 90% rule. So students have to be in their classes 90% of the time. So really, that is like a 1 week window, like that first, second week of school when we do that. So it's not a whole lot of time that they have to make that choice.
So as a parent, it's really important to, especially that first, well, right now, it's really important to go over the choices and the options that are available to them. And if there's a question, ask now. You all are easy to get a hold of. And if you're not available, there's someone else that can answer the question, or you'll get back to him as soon as possible. But please call the junior high and visit with them and ask these questions now, so that your child has the best option of getting into a class that they will enjoy and benefit from. But if something goes wrong in that first week of school, it's not what they expected, be asking them during that first week of school about the schedule change forms, because those are made available and there's a very tight turnaround time to get those in. And we'd hate for somebody to miss that if there was another option available. So, okay, so let's talk about, now athletics are not available in 6th grade, correct?
Correct.
Seventh grade will start athletics. And so we're actually going to have a call, and we'll do this hopefully every year to prepare those students that are going to be in 7th and 8th grade, in talking to them. And our athletic director, Wes Wood, will be on that. And so we'll continue to have those conversations when they come. But I do have a lot of people ask, is there any sports they can do in 6th grade? And no, but they do try a lot of them in PE, and we'll talk about that as well. Now, one of the other classes that every student takes at Snyder Junior High every year is WIN. And some people may not be familiar with what WIN is, and that's WIN. Can you explain what that means and what that class is for?
Absolutely. WIN stands for what I need. A lot of the times the students need extra support for reading or math. So they have that opportunity to work on that within that class time. It also serves as a homeroom time. So they go to the library during that time. The social emotional lessons will be, which social emotional lessons in junior high, it's the same thing as the character lessons that Ms. Parker did, or in the intermediate campus. It's just on a different level. And that will be provided through that WIN class as well.
Okay, so if a student is struggling with a class, that teacher is there to help them or help facilitate that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's something I know. I've had 2 kids at the junior high, and we'll have another in a few years. And one of the things I've asked, if one of my kids' grades is lower than we hope it would be, then I say, hey, what are you doing in your WIN class? Or if they're missing assignments. So that's something as a parent that you can ask, because they should have some time to either catch up on some things or get some help if they need to, in that class as well. So they'll be surprised that you know what that is. Hold them accountable. Okay, so lunch is a little different at junior high. I know that's been the highlight of some of my junior high kiddos' day, is the different lunch setup. Can you talk a little bit about how it's different? Do they still bring lunch from home if they want to? What's the cafeteria like there?
Okay.
So lunch is kind of scheduled with inside of the school day. Our 6th graders all go to lunch. Actually, they just finished their scheduling, started about 11:30 to about 12. So every grade level gets 20 minutes or gets 30 minutes of lunchtime. It is scheduled for their group, and they all go at the same time. So it's kind of loud, rambunctious, and fast and furious, because whenever you start putting 200 6th graders into one place and we got to get them all fed in 30 minutes, it gets a little crazy. But we do make that happen. Our ladies do a great job of that every day. So bell rings, students just transition like they're going from one class to another. They transition in there. We typically get them to sit at their tables, go over a few announcements, and then get them moving through those lunch lines as quickly as we can. If a student wants to bring their lunch from home, bring their lunch from home. They're more than welcome to it. As soon as they come in, they can go ahead and have a seat and get going. Right now, we have been that parents can bring lunch on Fridays. It is right now, you have to bring it on Friday only, and you only bring lunch for your student. Sorry, we can't go buy 5 large pizzas and bring it, say we're feeding everybody at the table. It's only lunch for my personal student. And then also, we do allow parents to come up as guests and come in and eat with their students as well on those Fridays as well, if they want to make that choice. So that's kind of what we've got going on with lunch.
And the same process applies as far as you need to show that you are indeed the parent of that student to bring that lunch in, correct? Just like the other.
Yes. Our ladies at the front office do make sure they check that. I did notice that someone had mentioned or asked, what time was lunch again? Right now, it's about 11:30 for our 6th graders. Our 6th graders go from like 11:30 to 12, and then our 7th graders follow within 3 to 4 minutes, like right behind it. That's not going to be a perfect timing because we will probably have some schedule adjustments, but it's going to be pretty much that time frame.
And one of the things that I know I hear about a lot are the spicy chicken sandwiches. Tell me a little bit about what's different at the junior high lunch room for kids.
So we have 3 lunch lines. We have the main line, we have a sandwich line, and I want to say the other one has kind of changed to where it's more sandwiches. It used to be like a nacho bar, but every day on the sandwich line, they can go through and they can get a hamburger, they can get a spicy chicken sandwich, they can get a plain chicken sandwich. There's always pizza available. So sometimes we have to coach kids not to always eat pizza every single day, but some of them will. So they have those options where they can go through, they get their own meal from there, and then they move forward after that. We still have the main lunch line. They go in, they get whatever's offered on the main menu. They can also buy snacks there. So I would encourage you to, if you are putting money on an account and you're worried about where that's going, that you keep up with that, because I know you get those reports that tell you hey, my kid bought 3 ice cream bars today. Well, that did add an extra charge. Maybe you told them they could have 1 a day, but they chose to go more than that. So.
Yes, I'm glad I found that. That was definitely helpful. That's in Skyward. You can see that if you're not familiar with that, or you can actually go in to NutriSlice and look and see what your kids are buying. So it was enlightening to me as we drained a lunch account pretty quickly. So if you don't know that, parents, there's another tip. So the next question is, junior high, it's a tough time for kids. They're at an age where a lot of changes are going on. They're making a big transition from elementary school to junior high, they're given more responsibility. Tell me a little bit about, what does the school do to help kids with that adjustment?
I think our staff is great here at being very supportive of the students. If ever there's a student in need, there's always the one-on-one with me to try to identify exactly what's going on. And we'll do activities, maybe if it's anxiety or something like that. I have all kinds of activities to go along with whatever it might be to help adjust to that. We have a check-in and check-out. They can check in and check out with maybe their favorite teacher or their favorite administrator, just so that they know that someone is constantly checking on them through the day and that we're here for them. Also, I'm a huge advocate for parent-teacher conferences and the students being present as well, so that that open line of communication is there, and everyone is aware of what's going on in the situation, so that everyone's working together. But I really feel like on our campus, we are so alert to what's going on with our students and our students' needs, and we're all here to help and to help them be successful.
And that's right, Ms. Faulkenberry. I think the one thing that I would definitely encourage as a parent is, if you notice your student is struggling, junior high can be a roller coaster of emotions. Don't wait. Give your child's teacher a heads up. I've sent a few parent squares in the past where I've said, hey, might be a rough day today. I'm just giving you a heads up, or, whatever it might be, just to communicate. We hope that that's a way that you can reach out quickly to your child's teacher. But if you are concerned and need to schedule something with Ms. Faulkenberry, she's always available and is able to help facilitate some of that. But my suggestion will be, just don't wait on that. Reach out and let us help you if they're struggling with friends, school. There's a wide range of things that can go on. Maybe just they're anxious about finding their classes, or something like that. It's better to reach out and get help than just let it go for too long.
A lot of times the transition is just overwhelming because we change 8 times a day. And so just helping slow that process down for them, and just being present in the hallways. Our teachers are present in the hallways. We are present in the hallways, and just so they see us and someone's there to help and guide. If they're overwhelmed with organization is a big thing in junior high. We have calendars that I provide to students, folders, things like that. So it's really on a student by student basis. But Ms. Morris said, we are always here to help with that. So the sooner you reach out and you ask for help, the faster we can resolve the issue and hopefully go towards a more successful year.
And that's right. And we will have an open house in August where students can come around, they'll get their schedule. There'll be some of the teachers on hand to meet. They can look around the building. And I know that often provides a lot of reassurance to kids, because that often is one of the bigger sources of anxiety, is finding their classes. I do know kids are pretty much able to get to their classes pretty quickly. And like you said, there are always teachers in the hallway who can help them with their schedule as they're carrying it around on that first day, to show them where to go. So, okay, great. So tell me, speaking of communication and reaching out, how do junior high teachers typically communicate with parents? And how will a parent know if their child is struggling in school?
Our teachers like to use a lot of the parent square, so you will get those messages through there. But also, parents have access to Skyward. Not only can you look up what they're spending in lunch, but you can look at their grades. You can see what they're turning in, what they're not turning in. We have access to Schoology so that you can make sure what work has out there. So we ask that you utilize all of those things, but if you have a preferred, oh, I need an email, I need a phone call, let us know. We will do those things. Our teachers are trying to reach out and struggling as much as possible. A whole lot of it is making that first step, because sometimes something's going on with your child and we don't, or we may be a little bit slower to catch it than you. Go ahead and send that message or make that phone call, because whenever you call my ladies in the front office, they will make sure that it gets to the appropriate teacher, appropriate administrator. If something happens and you've tried to reach out to a teacher and they haven't gotten back with you, reach out to me, reach out to Ms. Montoya, reach out to Ms. Faulkenberry. We will go, hey, tell me what's going on. It may be that the teacher was out with the flu. I had that unfortunately before spring break with a few of them, but it may be that, hey, tell me what's going on. Why have we not reached back out? We do typically ask that you give a minimum of 24 hours, because did you miss that teacher's conference that day? Did they not get it? So we want to make sure that they do have a opportunity to contact you before you reach on out to us as well.
And the beauty of using the Parent Square is that as administrators, we're able to see exactly what communication outreach has in both parties. So if you're messaging a teacher or vice versa, we can actually see, the attempts of communication. That way there's not maybe we notice, hey, they haven't responded and we can intervene if needed. Or it could also be that we're aware of the situation and they weren't, so we can intervene. When using Parent Square, that's the beauty of it.
And that's one of the things too, as far as I'll notice sometimes that maybe a teacher hasn't responded, and maybe there was a teaching issue that I needed to do with them on Parent Square. Maybe they didn't realize that the messages were coming to a certain spot in their app. Sometimes with our newer teachers, they learn a lot those first few weeks of school. So it gives us an opportunity to be able to see where we can help the teachers as well, so they can respond to you. So let's see here. We had a question. Will the dual language program still continue into junior high?
So that dual language program does not continue into junior high. It actually ends at the 5th grade. So those students do go on into their regular core courses at that point in time. I would really encourage those kids, especially who've been in dual language, as we move forward, once they hit 7th grade, you go ahead and get your Spanish 1, you get your Spanish 2 knocked out of the way, and then you already have all your high school Spanishes completed before you even head to high school. But those are 7th and 8th grade for our Spanishes.
Okay, so the next question is PE, and we touched on this a little bit, but what exactly do they do in PE, and how are they preparing for athletics in 7th and 8th grade in PE?
So PE is actually taught by one of our coaches, either a boys coach or a girls coach. The kids are actually now split. So the boys will go with the boys, the girls will go with the girls. They will ask them to change clothes and suit out and bring extra for shorts and a t-shirt, because they will go through weightlifting skills. They will go through football skills. They will go through basketball skills. They will go through volleyball skills. Those coaches really kind of go ahead and spend some time focusing in on developing some of those things that will happen in athletics. They teach them the proper form to lift weights. I know Coach Snodgrass does not put any weights on it. They lift just the bar because he's so worried about form. Let's get that right, because we don't want to injure you. We want to teach you the proper method, the proper way. They also do get to do some of the track skills, and they go out to track. They do have to do a mile run and some other skills tests at the end of the year that we document what they've done to kind of continue to see their growth in that. And then typically is Friday. Friday's typically got kind of free day, so it's more of a play the game type idea. It could be anywhere from dodgeball to a tiger ball or to some other that tries to help implement some of those skills into the actions.
Okay, and I know we're coming up on STAR test, so I'm changing gears just a little bit from PE and athletics, but what STAR test do sixth graders take? Because they're not the same every year.
Sixth grade takes two basic tests, the ELAR and the math. So those are the only two that they've got to worry about when they get to sixth grade.
Okay. And one thing too to note, and this just goes for all grades really, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Rush, but as in the past, we'll have an ELAR and a writing test for some grades, correct? They're doing it a little differently now.
The whole test has actually been changed quite a bit. It used to be that there was a writing test on the seventh graders. It wasn't on the sixth grade, it was on the seventh. But that writing portion has gone away. That's why it's no longer an ELA test or a reading test. It's an ELAR test. So they have combined a lot of the writing with inside of that. You're also going to see writing involved inside of that math test now as well. They're going to give them some short answer questions, and they're going to have to work some things out or explain how to do some things. A lot of that's going to be new to us this year, and we're going to get to actually see it as it comes out this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do and how they're going to perform. A lot of those this year, what we call our field test questions. So they're not counted against the kid, but really they get a view of what's going to be in their future.
Okay, well, good. I just wanted to clarify that because as we go through, you won't hear a separate writing test any longer. And I wanted to make sure that you knew it wasn't going away. In fact, they're just incorporating it into all facets of the test now. So we had another question come in about PE. So is there specific PE clothes they need to wear?
I'm not sure on that. Typically, the protocol is they have a separate t-shirt, they have a separate pair of shorts. They do want them wearing tennis shoes, of course, because of the running and the weightlifting. The coaches are going to make sure that those do follow school appropriateness. So it's not a specific standardized dress or uniform. It typically is just you are bringing your t-shirt and your shorts so that you are ready to work out for the day.
I know I can speak personally for my son that's in seventh grade. He brings a pair of black shorts and like an athletic t-shirt to school, and he usually brings it home on Friday and we wash it. So they're not issued anything. Okay, and so that leads us into a question that I saved till the very end, and we're already getting questions from parents about it. So tell me, will the junior high have standardized dress next year?
So Valerie sent out our survey from the district. Thank you very much. Because we did want everyone's input as we moved forward on what we would be considering with dress code as of next year. Overwhelmingly, pretty much, it says that they would like to see something that's going to be more aligned with what everyone else in Snyder ISD, the other schools are doing. So we have a committee formed. They have been meeting and reviewing the intermediate dress code, the high school dress code, some other junior high dress codes from around, and they are going to be making a recommendation back to us on what that will be looking like. So standardized dress is going to go away, but there is still going to be a dress code. I am hoping, it is my goal that will be out by the second week in May, because I know some people start shopping early. I am not one of those people. But for those who do, I definitely do want to have it out there before the end of the school year once we finalize what that's going to look like, because I still want to get input from all different groups. I want the teachers to have input. I want the students to have input. And then I do at some point in time, hopefully I can get it out so I can get some more parent input. I do have the input already that y'all gave through the survey, which has been great and helpful as we have gone through to try to start piecing something together.
And parents, I don't know if you are aware or not, but we did send that survey out, not just to parents, but to teachers and to students, and students at all grade levels, to get their feedback on dress code. It's definitely great to hear from everybody. Okay, so some of you all have been submitting questions through the chat, which is a great way to do it if you would like, or if you have a question that you would like to ask. Feel free. We'll stick around for a bit and answer some questions that you may have. Is there anything else that you all want to add, Mr. Faulkenbery, Mr. Rush, Faulkenbery, or Ms. Montoya? Nothing that you all have. I do want to remind you, while you are thinking of questions, that we will be meeting in person on the 7th of April from 6 to 7 at the junior high to answer any other questions that you have. You're welcome to bring your kid with you if you want to talk to something about schedule or electives or just any type of question that you have about junior high. We'll be glad to answer those for you. And then your students, be sure to ask them on Friday afternoon what they thought of the electives and the band and the choir, and discuss with them their elective choices over the weekend. Anybody else have questions? Okay, what about dropping and picking kids up for school? That's another question that came in.
So we will reshare our map as we get into August as to how our kids get dropped off. We do come in through our first entrance, which is on the east side of the building. We form two lines there. It goes one way. The line closest to the curb is all for drop off, so parents can just pull as far up as you possibly can, please, without blocking our crosswalk, and just let the kids off right there on that curb. There's 3 sets of open doors. We can accommodate about 6 cars at a time to let kids out and then pull on up. If you're in the side away from the cars, from the curb, we actually ask you to go ahead and pull around and loop through one of our other parking lots that is left in lanes just for that purpose. And someone is there to walk them across the busy street where everyone is moving in. They can ride the school bus as well, which actually drops off on the west side of the building. Then at the end of the day, the last bell rings, all of our kids are dismissed back into either a bus room where we're waiting for our buses, or they just straight out exit to the east side and are looking for mom and dad. We do ask that as many of you that are possible, please come on around and park in that parking lot instead of staying out on that curb, because 37th will get backed up and that gets to frustrate a whole lot. But we do also have someone there at the end of the day to make sure they can escort them across that busy part so that kids can quickly and safely get to their rides.
I gotta hand it to you, Mr. Rush. You all do have a very smooth drop off and pickup process.
That's not from my doing. That was someone who set that up previously. And once you see it work, everyone kind of catches on to it and it runs even smoother. That first day or two, I'm going to tell you, it's still going to be a little bit rough just because we're in that transition of getting back into that mode again, and y'all will get to be new to it. So, but once you get in there and you start figuring out kind of how it works, I think it'll just continue to improve and get even better.
I agree. Well, and we've had another question come in, and this was a question I also had as a parent when my first child went to junior high school. So, the maturity level of an 8th grader is very different than that of a 6th grader. How are hallways monitored? How are bathrooms monitored? What's the process for that?
So as Ms. Faulkenberry pointed out, we do expect all of our teachers every passing period to be out in the hallways, visible, see what's going on, greeting their kids at the door as they come in, and just watching to make sure what's going on. Administrators, counselor, anyone else is out in the hallways helping encouraging kids to move along and move on to class. This building, students are going to cross occasionally, but we do have, the way our building is laid out, we have what is called our sixth grade kind of hallway and our sixth grade kind of section where most of their cores are. So the sixth graders kind of over away from the seventh and eighth graders. But whenever we do to go to electives or we got to go to the gym for PE, we do have to cross paths, but we do have our adults visible at all times. Also over there where that sixth grade hallway is, there is what we call the sixth grade bathroom. And so that is monitored as well, so that we can make sure we have adults who do get in and out of there, but it is separate from the seventh and eighth grade bathrooms as well.
That's right. And I've seen that myself as far as the teachers are out in the hallways. In fact, I was talking to one in their classroom, the bell rang. It's during their conference period, and they said, I've got to get in the hallway. So we continued our conversation out there. So they do a good job of that as well. Okay, any other questions that you all have? Give y'all just a few minutes if you want to type something in, or if you want to unmute and ask your question, you're more than welcome to do that too. Okay, well, we will go ahead and end our meeting for now. I will record, this meeting was recorded, and I will post it on our website later this evening and also attach it to the original post in Parent Square. So if you know someone that missed it, be sure to let them know to go back and watch the video. And again, please join us on the 7th if you would like to. And if you have any questions in the meantime, something you think of afterwards, you can call the junior high 574-8700. We also have a generic email, which is questions@snyderisd.net. I answer those emails, but I can get them to whoever you need to, so that they can help get you answers to whatever questions that you have. So thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to the next year. Ms. Montoya, do you have something you want to add?
Just if para los padres que están viendo este video y necesitan que se le traduzca o tienen preguntas sobre la transición de sus hijos que van de quinto a sexto, por favor llámeme. Estoy en la junior high, que es 574-8700, el número ahí. Pregunten por Ana Montoya.
All right, we are so glad to have you, Ms. Montoya, to help us with any parents that need Spanish speaking assistance, and we're glad to help with that. Okay, well, thank y'all very much. Have a great day, and we hope to hear from you soon.